Hey everyone, this is Patricia Roebuck, and I'm excited to share my first layout with Cocoa Daisy and my first video with you. I am doing a product focus with the watercolor paper that was part of the main Color Swatch February kit, and I'm using it with some gelatos. I did get the watercolor set that Christine has in the shop, but I didn't have it at the time that I did this layout. So I'm using the gelatos on a nonstick mat, and then I'm using a water pen brush. You could also just use a paintbrush and a little cup of water, getting that nice and wet and spreading it on to the watercolor paper in like a starburst effect. I'm going to use this with the extra stamp called the Colorful Life, and so I'm going with that circular kind of design. So I really wasn't sure exactly how I was going to use this, but I knew I wanted that circular effect. So what I'm doing is I'm using a lighter gray, kind of a charcoal color from Hero Arts. I tried the darker inks and it was too dark and it took away from the soft pastel look of the watercolors. So now I want to use the rest of that sheet, and I'm taking those same colors that I used and just applying it in rows. And then I'm going to use the sentiment stamp and stamp onto it. I don't know yet how I'm going to work any of this into the layout yet, but I know this is the general idea and the main focus, so I'm going to see where it takes me. I'm going to add even more color to this sheet. It's a thin piece of watercolor paper. It's really nice and it really holds very well with the amount of water that you use. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more color using some neon mist and just sprinkling those on top. And then I'm going to let those dry, but I'm going to speed it up with the heat gun a little bit. I really loved the feel of this watercolor paper. I started to use my scissors and then I realized, okay, this is really nice. It can tear very nicely and easily. And I really liked the look, the torn look and the look that it gave to the stamped images there. So I didn't even use my scissors anymore. So now I'm just going to start placing the photo onto a piece of pattern paper background and decide on what other mats that I want to put underneath it. With the watercolor stamping and the background paper, I picked a photo that it's a silly photo, even though you can't even see my daughter's eyes, but I felt like it kind of went with the mood of the layout and the colors. So it's already starting to look more like an artsy type of a layout. So I'm being selective as to the tones and how intense the colors are. I'm trying to keep everything kind of soft. This is a simple design, but I wanted to add a little bit more texture and color to the background. So I'm tucking in little pieces that I cut from the exclusive paper from the main kit. And then I'm going to rip that side of that watercolor paper. I just think it really adds to the look. And a lot of times I will mat my entire layout. So now I'm going to decide if I'm going to mat it or leave it. And I decide that since it's such a soft, light layout, I'm going to leave it as is. So now I'm going to decide on embellishments. And I don't want anything that's going to take away too much from the mood, the photo, and the softness of the layout. So I'm going to kind of just play around and see what works. To add to the softness and the lightness of the layout, I decided to add some ribbon and just kind of tie it in a bow and then adhere it and loop it underneath the photo. It gives it a carefree and a light and a very feminine look to the layout. Now I'm going to go ahead and finalize everything, adhere everything down, do any last little details. I'm going to use some black mist. You'll see here in a little bit. I'll spray it into the cap and then just drizzle it over the layout. And then later, after the video was finished, I felt like it needed something in the upper left-hand corner to draw your eye down to the photo. So I hand cut a heart that I folded over, and I just cut it out and pop dotted it up there on the left. Thank you for watching.